Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us here today on New Life. This is a very special program, and we're going to do a very special segment just to minister to you with somebody that I have admired for a very, very long time. You know, we're all in this crisis stage, and we hear so often we're all in this together. Well, maybe not equally together, but we're going through it. And just as we had Ann Graham Lotz come on and just give us some perspective from her, where she sits, today I've invited Dr. Tony Evans to come in, and he's just going to minister to us. So we're not going to take phone calls for the first 30 minutes. We're just going to be with Tony, and he's going to minister to you. If you want to join us, we'll be in the studio for a couple hours, but you could join us at 1-800-229-3000. Now, joining me are two of the great minds in Christian counseling, Dr. Alice Benton and Chris Williams. Hi, guys.
Hello.
And then I want to introduce Dr. Evans. You know, he has written over 100 books, and he's an amazing pastor at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship. There are 40 years. Thousands of people go to that church, and he's president of the Urban Alternative. And I have the honor of both of us are on the Promise Keepers speaking team and the pastoral advisory team. He's also, how about this? He's the chaplain to the Dallas Mavericks. Now that's pretty cool thing. But he is just one of, well, how did you describe him, Alice, when we were talking earlier? How did you describe him?
I said he's a fireball.
He's a fireball. There you go. So, Dr. Tony Evans, welcome to New Life. You have fans here. We love you. We love your teaching. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the invitation. Delighted to be with you.
Well, you really have helped so many people. You've been such an inspiration to us, and I cannot thank you enough for taking out the time from your busy schedule just to talk to us on a heart-to-heart level. We've got a lot of folks listening, and they love the truth. They love hearing the truth. And let me just start us off, and I've heard one of your great sermons, Prescription for a Pandemic, and you did a great video on just how we're dealing with this and how we're to be through this. But one of the things that I've seen is that some people have felt ashamed because they have had some fear, and then somebody comes along and says, well, you know, love casts out fear, and you shouldn't have fear if you're a real Christian. But you're very realistic about this. What do you say to somebody that, you know, it's really gotten to them and they're a little bogged down with some fear and some anxiety here?
Well, first of all, we need to distinguish between fear as a feeling and fear as a decision.
Ooh.
You often cannot control how you feel. Feelings can come out of nowhere and encompass you, and that is real. So to deny that in the name of super spiritual Christianese it's not reality. Now, that is a different than making a decision because of the feeling. Once you make a decision because of that feeling, the feeling now rules. And what you don't want is the ruling of fear, even if you have the emotion of fear. So to make that distinction helps people to not feel guilty about feelings that they can't control.
I love that. It's perfect. And, you know, I want you to talk about worry because, you know, that's where, well, we'll just save it for right after this. You're listening to New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we don't just let anybody on the program. In fact, we rarely have folks on other than our team taking questions. But I just was so delighted that Tony would come on and share with us a little bit from his heart here. We're already we were talking at the break, Tony, about just the brilliance here that you already shared with us, because how do you just, if you all of a sudden you've got some fear, that isn't just an instant sin. And I like to tell people, hey, if you're standing outside of McDonald's and the clown is there and you're scared that somebody's going to shoot you or something, well, that's one thing. If you're in a dark alley and somebody's walking up and you see a gun silhouette in the shadow and a knife in the other one, well, that's a different kind of fear. And, when I read what St. Augustine said, when ministers asked him, what is your position on this plague that's killing everybody? He said, well, let me tell you something. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to ask God to save us. And he says, and then I'm going to fumigate. And so he had faith, but he wasn't going to be stupid either. And that's what I think you've really helped people to hear. We need to be responsible, and we need to do the right thing. Why is that so difficult for people to understand that just because you're cautious doesn't mean you're saturated with some kind of debilitating or sinful fear?
Well, God says he feeds the birds, but you've never seen a bird standing with its beak open toward heaven waiting for worms to drop in.
That's true.
God feeds the birds, but the birds go worm hunting. So there is an expectation of provision that does not negate personal responsibility. We are workers together with God.
That's right.
Anything that God requires us to do is an act of faith when we do it. There's some things that we cannot do, so there is no expectation of God that we do it. So obedience is the demonstration that what you say you believe, you really believe, which is why it's called walking by faith, not talking by faith, moving by faith, not mouthing by faith, living by faith, not lipping by faith. So it's critical that we understand that there is a responsibility factor that complements the faith expectation.
Amen. I wanted to know your thoughts about people coming back to church. You got a lot of people that go to your church. What are your thoughts about getting back into the main congregation?
Well, there are two principles. One is, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together, Hebrews 10:25. So the corporate worship is a major thing with God. But there's another principle, and that is to love one another, which is to seek people's well-being. We're in a crisis situation that has kept us apart. We are to protect each other while we are not to forsake assembling ourselves together. So how do you do both at the same time when they're counterintuitive? Well, you progress slowly and wisely, because you don't want to jump back in and have to back out because things don't go like you thought.
Right.
So I think the churches may do it in different ways, but you do it progressively and slowly, but you do it because you want to keep that command to gather, but you also want to protect the flock. And so I challenge churches to wisely and slowly reemerge so that the people know you're not negating safety for gathering.
Amen. Well, one of the things that we have heard here, because part of our ministry, a big part of our ministry, is every man's battle, and we do the workshop, Every Man's Battle, and just seen thousands of men have victory there. But we see the statistics, and we see a couple of things that men are doing in greater numbers because they're at home and under stress, and one is more pornography, and the other is abuse, and their anger, raging, and emotional abuse, sometimes physical abuse, and sometimes these guys are, church-going guys. Could you talk to men a little bit about how they're handling this crisis personally and with the relationships that they have?
Well, first of all, we've got to define what a man is according to God and not what a man is according to culture.
Amen.
A man in the Bible is a male who accepts responsibility under divine authority.
That's brilliant.
Responsibility under divine authority. God told Adam, look, before I even give you a woman, I'm going to give you the rules of engagement. So these are the rules: to guard, to guide, to provide, both physically and spiritually. That's why he gave the command to Adam. He didn't give it to Eve. That's why God didn't he come looking for Adam and Eve? He said, Adam, where are you? Why? Because I'm holding you responsible. So when men have to, if you don't start with that definition, then you dumb down the deity's definition of manhood, which means that the culture now rules what's okay, or you rule what's okay. So when you accept responsibility under God, now the question is, okay, what does God expect from me? He expects you to protect your family. And if you fail to protect your family, you have distanced yourself from God. And when you distance yourself from God, as Adam did, there are going to be consequences in your life, in your family, and in your culture because of your distancing yourself from God. The major problem today is the abandonment of men. That abandonment of men is the primary singular reason for the decay of the culture. If you don't fix that, you don't fix the culture, the church, or the family. God says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He does not say, I'm the God of Sarah, Rebecca, and Rachel. That's not because he's against women. It's because he's holding the man responsible. And when you understand that, and that thing rises up in your soul, that you begin to understand manhood as God defines it, now you are facing a challenge, and men gravitate to challenges. The problem is they've not been challenged properly, and so they're responding to improper challenges. Some of that's the church's fault.
Well, I love what you're saying, and it's just talking to you personally, such a reflection of what you say from the pulpit. You did, in one of your messages, admit a bit of a weakness, and that was your love of donuts. And what I loved is that you related the donut and the sugar to religion. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because that speaks to my heart and to a lot of others too.
Well, I was saying religion can be like donuts, You go for a sugar high. You go on Sunday and get hyped up by the singing, by the preaching, by the gathering. But donuts are sweet to the taste and have absolutely no nutritional value. And so if you only live for the hype of the sugar high on Sunday, and you're not going deeper in your relationship and under divine rule on Monday through Saturday, then that Sunday experience was a waste of time.
Amen. Yeah, I love that. I heard of a woman who was at a hotel, and they were just praising and singing, and shouting, and she just got so involved worshiping, and then she discovered it was a Tupperware convention, and it kind of woke her up to maybe she's suffering a little bit from what you're talking about. Dr. Evans, during this time, loss is real. Some have lost loved ones, and some have lost their job or even a business. And so often in the Christian world, it's tough. People, they want to show strong faith, but Jesus was a man of sorrows and acquainted with the bitterest of grief. Talk about your insights that you have into our need to feel and grieve when we have experienced tremendous loss, and it's not a sign of spiritual weakness.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Or else you would be condemning Jesus to be less than a man if you said that when Lazarus died and he went and he met with Mary, Jesus wept, the shortest verse in the Bible. So he expressed his emotions, yet he is the man among men that every man should pattern or seek to pattern his life after. So weakness is not in your emotions. Weakness is in your decision making. Yes. Jesus is dropping sweats like blood in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he doesn't want to go. Let this cup pass from me. That sounds weak, but then he says, "But not my will, but thine will be done." Now you saw the strength. Mm-hmm. So you have the weakness of the emotion and like what it was facing, but the strength of the decision. Show me your decision, and whether that can overrule an illegitimate emotion.
Mm. Mm. Well, yeah.
Dr. Evans, in one of your recent sermons, you were talking about depression, and that in moments like those, like the example of Jesus, that if we only get stuck talking to ourselves versus talking to God, we stay stuck. You really inspired me by what you said. Would you bring that up here now?
Yeah. If you're already struggling and you're doing self-talk, then the struggle is talking to the struggle. It's talking to yourself. So you're already not doing well, and you gonna tell you where to go from here. That's not a good way to go. No. You need another perspective through which to shift your focus, and that's where a divine perspective comes in to play. Now that can come in a lot of different ways. That can come through songs, sermon, friends, but you want to make sure that you're hearing God's voice and not your own voice, confusing it as God's voice. Mm-hmm. And that's where, when you are emotionally spent, like Elijah was, he was emotionally spent, he became suicidal, because of the depth of his depression. And God had to minister to him outside of himself and bring him out of that depressed mood that he was in. So we all face it. It comes in different, I faced my losses in my life recently with my loss of 7 family members in 18 months, including my father.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So I know what that feels like to talk to yourself and be no better off for it. But at the same time, you've got to shift what you're looking at, so that you see things from God's perspective. That doesn't necessarily wipe away your emotions at the moment, but what it does is Isaiah 40, it gives you strength to keep going in spite of the emotions of the moment.
And Tony, you'd mentioned before that fear has a will, and it's a feeling that can turn into its own decision making. Are there practical ways that we can take, practical things we can do to prevent things like fear or despair turning into our decision making, having its own will over us?
Yeah, well, the first question you've got to ask is, God, what do you want me to do? When you read Hebrews 11, it says, by faith, and then it gives a person's name, whoever they're talking about in that particular verse, and then it says what they did, the action that they took. So faith was not measured by their feeling, it was measured by their function. So you must ask, okay, what does God want me to do? And once you act, not talk about acting, think about acting, discuss acting, but once there is motion, you have activated, in our church we have motion detector lighting in some of the rooms because people are leaving lights on and wasting electricity. So the power is there, the lights are there, but they won't come on until somebody walks in there because they've been programmed not to act until motion has been detected. When they walk out, the lights go off. God's power is there, his light is there, but it's programmed not to move until motion has been detected.
That's great.
So
I like that a lot.
That will override the fear because you're now functioning in faith.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a break. We'll come back. We'll have one final segment here with Dr. Tony Evans. And, he is just one amazing Bible teacher. One of his great books, Kingdom Man. Wow, that's powerful. We'll be back right after this.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 30th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change. By the end of the day yesterday, her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be his.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. If you want to join us on the program, we're going to finish up here with Dr. Evans. We're so grateful to have him here. But you could join us at 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Dr. Evans, in these final moments here, you talk about the presence of God. You talk about God from the perspective of his love being our daddy, and this providing a way for us to get through tough times. We can settle into his love. Would you just share a little bit about your experience with God's love and encourage folks that are really struggling and knowing that God is there for them and loves them deeply?
Well, first of all, let's define love, because there is an assumption about the word when the word has kind of been watered down. I love chocolate cake. I love ice cream. It's a very generic word.
Yeah.
Love in Scripture is the decision to compassionately, righteously, and responsibly seek the well-being of another. God's love is a decision that he has made to come alongside of us and meet us for our better good. Does not mean everything is good. It means he is good, even if everything is bad. He has made that decision. Of course, he decided that with regard to the death of his son. So that decision has been made on your behalf. the best and most simplest way to enter into that decision, because most of us, when we talk about love, are looking for an emotion to accompany it, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the best way to enter into that decision is to thank God for his love. Even if you're not emoting with it at the moment, you spend the day, throughout the day, thanking him that he does love you. Thank you that he does have compassion. Thanking. That thanksgiving, not grumbling or complaining, but that thanksgiving activates an experience of his love, because you're taking him at his word. And you're giving thanks for something he says. He says, I love you. You're saying, I don't feel it. Thank him by faith and let him respond to your faith.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we don't feel his love because we haven't truly made the commitment for righteous living, and we feel distant from him because some of our unrighteousness is just doing that, and he's there waiting.
Yeah. Sin can block the experience of his love like the prodigal son, but he keeps the light on, so you can come home.
Right. That's right. Well, could you tell everybody how they could get in touch with you if they'd love to? What is the website for Open Up Bible Fellowship? And
well, the best way to do it is TonyEvans.org, which is the national ministry, and it'll tell you about the church as well as what we do across the country, the books, the tapes, and all the things, the resources, the Tony Evans Study Bible, the Bible Commentary, the Training Center. All of that is at TonyEvans.org.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to direct people your way, and I'm just wondering if there's anything that you'd like to leave us with. I've asked you a lot of questions, but anything on your heart that you could leave us with as we close out this time with you?
The pandemic is a problem that has created an opportunity. And if you only see the problem, if all you see is what you see, you do not see all there is to be seen. Everything visible and physical is always preceded by something invisible and spiritual. So if you want to address the visible physical, you must identify and address the invisible spiritual. Once you look at this thing spiritually and not only circumstantially, then you're in a position to turn a crisis into a unique way for God to work to take you to the next level.
Amen. Well, I hope and pray that folks are as encouraged as I am by your teaching. And if you've never ever heard Dr. Evans preach, just go to the website and click on one of the sermons, and you can just go to YouTube and type in Dr. Tony Evans, and you'll see some great teaching there. Thank you very, very much. Look forward to seeing you as part of Promise Keepers, and God bless you, and you stay safe and sane. And we are once again so thankful for all that you do and taking the time to minister to us in this way today. Thank you very, very much. All right, you are listening to New Life Live, and we're so glad that you are. And Dr. Evans does have a Bible. I love getting people into the Word. And his study Bible is just one of the best. I mean, really, it's taking the things that he's done over the years, all of the depth and the insight. As Alice said, I think she said it at the break, he reads the Bible and he yes. finds things that other people don't find there. And so that's a wonderful, wonderful way to study the Bible, a great gift for Father's Day. Bibles can really change a person's life if it's a Bible that's engaging and gets them into the truth in a brand new way. Our phone number, 1-800-229-3000. You can now join us. We're going to answer your questions to the best of our ability here. And we'll be in the studio another hour and a half doing just this. And don't forget, tonight, 5 o'clock, Facebook Live, and I'll be continuing my series on Lose It for Life. We know the freshman 15 adds 15 pounds when you become a freshman many times. The COVID-19, many have gained 19 plus by hibernating, as bears do. And so we're going to get rid of that, but we're going to do it from the inside out. That's what we're doing. 5 o'clock Eastern Time each day, Facebook Live. But right now, we'll take a break and come back with your calls, 1-800-229-3000.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Yeah, we are back, you know. Thanks, Dr. Evans, for that. I love it when we can bring folks in, have a little ministry time here just for our folks there. And thanks to all of you that support us that allow that to happen. Now, 1-800-229-3000 is the phone number if you'd like to join us. Don't forget, coming up, we have on May the 30th, Every Man's Battle. That's our online seminar. And then Chris Williams and I are going to be doing ours on June the 13th, Finding Freedom. We'd love for you to join us for that. But right now, we're going to go to the phones. And again, the phone number, 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Patricia from Omaha, Nebraska. KCRO is the station. Hi, Patricia. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. What's going on in your life?
I lost my husband 2.5 years ago. I do have a huge family, grandchildren and children. I've always been the type of person that takes care of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding myself alone, and I don't know how to live. I don't know how to take care of me. I don't know how to do for me. It's just been my life's mission to help other people, but now I find myself in need of what I've been giving out to other people.
When your husband was alive, Patricia, and you were taking care of him and meeting his needs, was he?
No, he was the same way. It was a we thing. It wasn't a me thing. So
Okay.
he was the same way. We didn't do for we. We took care of everybody else. So, but it was a thing that we did and that we enjoyed doing. I wish we would have did more for us, but we didn't, So it wasn't him. He took care of me and everybody else, but we took care of everybody.
Well, when all of that was going on, did you sense that his motive was simply to serve others, or was there some kind of something in his past he felt bad about? He felt kind of driven to help others to make up for or compensate for something?
I think it had to do with both of our childhoods. He grew up in foster care, and I grew up in a family where I was just different from the others. I was unloved and whatever. So instead of turning that into, being angry or whatever, we both took it as we didn't want people to hurt like we did.
Yeah,
so,
wonderful.
It caused us to become enablers. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So we didn't know how to do anything else but, take care of other people. And I had a lot of guilt when he passed away because I felt that we should have done more for us, something, instead of just always thinking about other people who in turn doesn't think about you,
Yeah.
Unless
well, you know what I think?
Christ.
I think when he was alive, you did the best you could with what you knew and what you'd been from. Then when we lose a partner, we start to examine some things, and we don't have the ability to go back and redo, but we do have this hindsight, and it's just important that you not beat yourself up for not knowing certain things. And Alice, what would you say to Patricia here as she's really needing some people to step in and meet some needs for her? She has been doing it for so many others for so long.
Well, Patricia, I honor your self-sacrifice. You serve well. It is a gift that you have, and what a loss to lose your husband these few years ago. I'm curious, Patricia, does it feel selfish to consider doing something purely for yourself and to consider asking for help from others for them to help meet your needs?
To be honest with you, I don't feel guilty. I have reached out, and it's just that it's just not there, or people don't hear you. You understand what I'm saying? People know when they have needs, but it's when you reach out, it's like they just don't hear you. Or people look at you as this person of always being the strong one or whatever, and just feel that you're not in that. I don't understand. I don't know.
Well,
but,
Patricia, I want to lovingly challenge you here, and because you already wisely know that your love crossed over at times into enabling, and that the way you and your husband loved other people may have trained them that you don't have needs, and that you are only there to serve them, and that it's not their responsibility to meet your needs as well. So they may be trained to do it that way. So I think that you have two options there. You can push back against the way that you trained them, and you can teach them a different way by your example and by ongoing requests of them, even by confession that you realized you enabled them. And or you can bring new people into your circle that have that healthy ability and willingness to do as you do, to meet needs of other people.
I guess my thing is, though, what I'm saying is I don't even know where to begin. I isolate myself. I just don't even know where to begin. I don't even know.
Well, Patricia, let me jump in here really quickly, because I think that's really important. When we're making these major changes in our life, the trying to make them can get overwhelming really quickly. I would recommend this. I think that there are community groups that you can be involved in. Maybe it's through your church, which would be a great place to start. But involve yourself in the life of a common interest. It could be a hobby. It could be a ministry. But mostly what I want it to be first and foremost for you is enjoyable. You need to learn to have fun again. And so find out... so find out what you like to do. And that might take some experimentation. You might it's like, hey, I think I would like fishing. You go out and fishing, and it's like, oh, this is boring, and I don't like it at all. And then you go try something else. So then try to find that in groups of people, and being a part of that. And that's where you start sharing your life and having fun at the same time.
And Patricia, one more thing here, and this is something I think you've started here with us. When we are people pleasers, we can even be dishonest in our pleasing. We can say, oh, I'm fine, when we aren't, or oh, it's not about me, it's about you, let me just help you. And so what I think, when you say, I don't know where to start, I think you've started it, but now you need to do it face to face. And it starts with honesty, brutal honesty. And that doesn't mean that you become critical or offensive, but it's sometime when you share with someone, I'm really down today and I've really struggled today, and they don't respond, then it's really honest, and it invites them to kind of evaluate how they're treating you. When you say to them, you know, I just shared with you something that was really hard for me to share, and I don't feel like you either heard me or understood that I need some care and some comfort right now. And see what the response is. Now, if you do that every time you're with someone, then, you know, that's uncomfortable. But what if they said, oh, my goodness, I've heard you say so many times, you know, oh, I'm fine or whatever. I didn't know, and now I'm going to listen differently. Maybe you provide, with your brutal honesty of your feelings, sharing honestly, maybe you provide an open door to a new kind of relationship with some people that have taken you for granted. So I would give them that opportunity. But it starts with you being open and honest about your feelings without being critical of them. Now I want you to hold on, because I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. And here, well, there's just some great material, but it talks about we have to value ourselves enough to defend ourselves and our worth. And we have to do great things for ourselves rather than expecting other people to do great things for ourselves. Also, we have to limit the amount of time that we have the life sucked out of us by uncaring or people that lack empathy or compassion for us. I think you'll really like it. It's Take Your Life Back. I'll send it to you. Well, this is a great time for all of us to be evaluating what we're doing and our motives. I go see a counselor, and we're just dealing with, are you loving people well, and what's the motive, and how do we need to alter that every week?
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 30th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change by the end of the day yesterday. Her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, and there is a matching fund of it's about $376,000, I believe it is. But if you want to give easily, you just text NLM match to 28950. NLM match 28950, and every dollar gets matched with another dollar. I think that's a pretty cool thing. It's double. We need your help. I was just talking with Larry about $100,000 downfall and or coming short in the summer. It happens in summers, and this isn't a great summer to make up for anything financial. And we've been blessed with some generosity, but we need your help. So if you've never thought about it, maybe now is the time to think about giving to New Life, and you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. A lot of folks evaluating, sensing things, feeling things you haven't thought about or felt before. You call us if you need some help with that, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And look, Chris and I are going to be doing Finding Freedom in June. And you sign up now. It's never been more affordable, more convenient. But that nagging shame or regret or worry, fear, maybe that habit that you've never really gotten over, and you're just on the verge of being a hoarder, or you are one, or you're dismissive of people, character issues. We're going to talk about that, and you can be free from that, and ungrieved losses especially. Call us. Let us help you. We want to. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Let's go to Ronnie, Baltimore, Maryland, Sirius XM. And before we go to Ronnie, if you want to join us on the next program, 1-800-229-3000, and you can watch it on Facebook Live. Also, 1-800-229-3000. Ronnie from Baltimore on Sirius XM. How you doing?
Hi, Steve and company. Thank you guys for all that you do. I enjoy listening to the program. I listen often. And Steve, you make me laugh a lot. You're kind of corny sometimes.
I have been accused of that by people that don't really understand the true quality of humor that I have here. Anyway, Ronnie, thanks for calling us. How can we help you today, my friend?
So my question is, how do I get over emotions or ungodly feelings following a divorce and a relationship that I was in for 40 years of my life?
What happened? Why did it fall apart? Why the divorce?
I don't know. I think that my husband had a lot of issues with control. We didn't communicate very well, although he thought that he was a good communicator. I said that he talked a lot, but I don't necessarily agree that he was a good communicator, and I know I'm not. So I think a lot of things just took place that shouldn't have, including infidelity. And
who was unfaithful, Ronnie?
It's been on both parts.
Okay.
But
you're especially angry at him.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And before we were even divorced, he went back to someone he was with years and years ago.
Oh, how painful.
Okay.
Yeah,
so now you've got all of this anger and bitterness, right?
Yes, and I want to get rid of it.
Who filed for divorce?
It's funny. I did, but he kind of initiated when he came to me one day and said, so we've been kind of separated. Well, not separated, but we've been kind of apart, like not really doing the normal family thing that we were doing for a couple of weeks because we had an event that was going on, and we were working that. And he said, so how about we just don't work, go back to the normal family stuff, and you can just do your own thing, and I'll do my own thing. And,
so Ronnie,
it kind of went like that. He kind of
Okay. All right. So here's my question, and then I'll let Alice and Chris ask you a question or two. Has there been any crack in the wall that might lead the two of you to think we both really blew this, and with some retraining, we might be able to pull this together if we could work through our bitterness and anger?
Oh boy, I don't think so. I think he's really moved on, and because of the years and years and years of stuff, I'll say, I don't know if I could ever let it go all the way. To get
Chris,
to a place
Chris,
where
what do you think here? I mean, she's got a lot of unresolved stuff, and both are offenders here.
Yeah, Ronnie, I mean, you have the most significant relationship in your life. And whatever the reasons, and there was very legitimate reasons why this thing didn't work out, but the loss is real. And it's a very, very significant loss. And so oftentimes when we're not moving through that grief process, we get stuck in the anger. And again, your anger is justified because it's based on betrayal. So that I want to honor that. I want to say that makes sense. But it doesn't, you're identifying it correctly. It doesn't make sense to stay there because that keeps you stuck. In the anger, I think that it's identifying what is driving the anger. And then there's this really strange part. What is my part in that? Right. And so that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of spiritual courage to say, what is my part in all of the damage that has been done and the anger that I feel? And then there is a two-way street of forgiveness, which I will start with saying it's letting go. The forgiveness is letting go of him and letting go of yourself. Oftentimes, how angry we are at ourselves and the mistakes that we make, we project onto the other person. Although, again, they did plenty to make us angry, but letting go. And that moves us into the sadness of the loss and grief. But in that sadness, it says in Scripture, we are not like those who grieve without hope. It is really important that you start to cultivate hope. Asking God for a new vision for your life, for a new vision for yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
And then Tony Evans said earlier today, this great thing, we take responsibility and then we take action. And that's what's going to really make the transformation in your life, is you start moving towards becoming a healthier person and engaging in healthier friendships and relationships in your life.
I'll tell you, there is rarely an impossible situation that cannot be reformed into a healthy situation. There are some beyond it, but if the grieving takes place, if the accepting responsibility for my piece of it takes place, and then I move toward trying to accept this other person as I did before we got married, and then forgiveness comes in, there is hope that you can literally wipe all of this stuff that's there that makes it impossible to get back together. You can wipe it out if you let God help you and you have the help of a counselor. And the sooner you do it, the better, because divorce is just horrific. It starts with D like death, and I think it's worse in many cases. So you want to avoid it at all costs. There's a reason that God hates it, because it really is painful for the people he loves. You want to join us on the next program, 1-800-229-3000. If you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.